What will be the significance of the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China on developing countries such as Egypt? On October the 12th, the 19th Central Committee of the CPC concluded its seventh and final plenary session in the lead-up to the 20th National Congress of the CPC. According to a communique, the session took stock of the work of the CPC since the last National Congress, noting that the past 5 years have been unusual and extraordinary, and the session made full preparation for the upcoming 20th National Congress. What does the upcoming Congress mean for developing countries such as Egypt? And what does China's development in the next stage mean for the rest of the world? In an exclusive interview, I talked to Dr. Essam Sharaf, former Prime Minister of Egypt. Now, the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China is scheduled to convene on October the 16th, this Sunday in Beijing. Chinese President Xi Jinping said in July that this Congress will look ahead to China's two-stage development plan toward the middle of this century and outline strategic tasks for the next 5 years in particular. Why do you think this Congress is attracting so much attention around the world? What is its significance?
Okay, thank you very much. In fact, this Congress is very special because it comes under a very difficult and complicated international circumstances. This is one thing, COVID and Russia, Ukraine, war, and so forth. The second thing is, of course, China is a great country, and the world is anxious to know about China directions in the short and long term, especially this Congress. And also I can see actually that the world is, for me, divided into two groups. The first group, which is the majority, are countries that actually support China and believe in the Chinese capability that can achieve global peace and development. The other part is minority, and these countries actually are working to either stop Chinese progression or at least slow down Chinese progression. Both groups in favor of China and against China are very much looking for the results of this Congress to see what are the directions and the intention of China. So that's why this Congress is very important also. So that's why I can summarize that this Congress is very important both on the international level and also on the national level or China level. So putting this together is really what makes this Congress is very unique and very important, and I believe the results will be very solid and will add much to the journey of China towards a global community of shared future.
What are your expectations for China's development in the next stage? What does that mean for the rest of the world, especially for developing countries or the majority of countries that you just mentioned?
Yes. Okay. Before I talk about the next stage, let me talk about during the epidemic, the COVID-19, China was able to, of course, control in a very professional way, control the epidemic. And also at the same time, China succeeded in having economic and social development and at very sound levels. So that tells us that China is capable of facing challenges. And during the next stage, I believe that China will continue its development, and China will follow the model that was presented in the 14th five-year plan, which 2021 to 2025, which actually presented a new development model called the dual circulation development pattern. where actually it's depending on the domestic development, and then domestic and international development will work together. This is a very unique and very important, because I always believe that a strong and solid internal, that's very important to face local challenges and also international challenges. So I believe following these policies and strategies and techniques presented in this 5-year plan is the roadmap for China development in the next stage. Um, what that means to the world, and especially developing countries, in fact, it's a model. China become like sometimes I call China like solved example. People can look at how China faced problems and developed under very severe conditions from a very poor country under the CPC, of course, and the leaders of the CPC moved from a very poor country to a very strong, solid, and superpower, having the second economy in the world and first trading and first manufacturing. So that's an example. And China, always my friends and officials in China say we are a developing country. So when developing countries around the world and China lovers look at this model and see how the developing country became such advanced like China, so that give them inspiration and the way they can follow. And that's very important. And that's what we can see. Yeah.
Well, of course, China does not see itself as a superpower at all at this stage, although we have the goal, we have that ambition to rejuvenate our nation, but we do not see ourselves as a superpower. But China has indeed launched several cooperative proposals over the past decade, for instance, the Belt and Road Initiative, and more recently, the Global Development Initiative and the Global Security Initiative. How do you see these proposals, and what do they mean for developing countries?
Okay, well, I see these proposals as a very civilized way to address global cooperation, development, and peace. Yes, very civilized if compared to some countries which call for divisions and pushing to revive the Cold War era. So that's in general. And these proposals mean a lot for developing countries. Again, these proposals provide developing countries and the people of developing countries the opportunity to benefit from these initiatives, BRI and GDI and GSI, and also benefit from them and to take a positive role in global cooperation, development, and security. So it's not only receiving, but actually this globality of the initiatives allow these countries to be to play a positive role in these initiatives and in the global, as I said, global cooperation, development, and peace.
You once said that peace and development are the goals of the global international community should achieve together. What challenges are we facing now in seeking these goals, and what is needed most right now?
Well, I believe that the challenges, to be brief, unilateralism, domination, and selfishness. These are the main challenges. And I have a strong feeling that there are some countries are unaware of the fact that we are very connected and no single country or even region can face global challenges alone. So these are the challenges. Some countries want to dominate. Some countries believe in they are the only country to take decisions and take actions without reference to the global and international system. So that's why unilateralism, domination, and selfishness. And what's needed, of course, there is a lot of things, but let me say, I always dream of a new coalition of peace-loving countries getting together under the leadership of, 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 uh, of a country that can handle this global intention. And I believe China can play a very important role in that. These countries have to work together uh, to provide the world a new world, to provide a new world under multilateralism and working together to build global peace and development community or world. That's what I can see. We have to get together. We have to influence the international order and to move from unilateralism to multilateralism to achieve peaceful life. And as I said, and as President Xi always say, that's the shared future. We cannot work alone, so we need to get together to beat these challenges.
You have served as Egypt's Minister of Transportation from 2004 and 2005, and also in your capacity as Prime Minister, you have visited China many, many times, and you have a lot of interactions with your Chinese counterparts and ordinary Chinese people. What is one anecdote or one story you can share with us at this moment about your understanding of China that is different from how China or Chinese people or Chinese government is depicted in the international press?
Okay, of course, I visited China. The first visit was in 2005 when I was Minister of Transport, and after I left my position as Prime Minister in 2000, from 2014 to 2019, I visited China maybe 30, 35 times, and I have a lot of stories. But let me select one of them. I remember I was visiting Ningxia, and we were. We were allowed to go to an area where they have economic houses for relatively poor people. And we had a chance to visit one family, one Muslim family, and we had lunch with them. And actually, it was a very, very nice time. And we talked to the people, the fathers and grandfather, and also the grandchildren. And we have a very fantastic time. And we ate, of course, lunch. It was very nice Chinese food and the snacks. And why I'm saying that, I have a lot of stories, but why I'm saying that, because I can say with no hesitation that I felt how the minority, like or ethnic group like Muslims, are actually enjoying their own rights there. They have nice housing. They have actually vacation in Muslim religious occasions, and they enjoying their life. So that's why I feel that this is very important for me and very important to tell the world that this issue of discrimination and ethnic racism and things like that is nothing more than a media war against China.
Thank you so much, former Prime Minister of Egypt, Dr. Essam Sharaf, joining me from Cairo.